Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. You know how much we love languages around here
Oh, yeah.
and how they give us these little sneak peeks into different cultures.
Absolutely.
Today we've got a really interesting one. It's a snippet from a YouTube video transcript
Okay.
all about common Arabic phrases
Hmm.
and how they're used. But more than that, what they really tell us
Yeah.
about the culture itself.
I love that.
You know, the values and the worldview and all that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fascinating how much you can learn from just a few words or phrases, right?
Right.
It's
Exactly.
like a window into a whole different way of thinking.
Exactly. So there was this one phrase
Okay.
that really jumped out at me, and I'm going to try my best to pronounce this. I think I wrote it down phonetically here.
Yeah, okay.
Mashallah la quwwata illa billah.
Beautiful.
How do you do?
You did great.
Oh, good. I was a little nervous about that one. Um, and it's written, of course, in Arabic script, but
Mm-hmm.
that's that's how it sounds phonetically.
Mm.
And the thing that I thought was so interesting about this
Mm-hmm.
was the context.
Okay.
Like the video mentioned that you might say this.
Yeah.
When you're complimenting someone,
Uh-huh.
like on their new car or something,
Right.
it's not just nice car.
Exactly. There's so much more to it than that. So on the surface, yeah, it translates to something like what God has willed has happened.
Okay.
There is no power except in God.
Hmm.
But in Islamic culture, it goes way beyond just a simple compliment.
Oh, really?
It's really about acknowledging, you know, God's role in everything
I see.
and attributing any blessings or good fortune to a higher power.
So you're saying it's like
Hmm.
a way of kind of deflecting envy,
Exactly.
or the evil eye.
That's a big part of it. Yeah.
That's so interesting because that's something you see in lots of different cultures.
You do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fascinating how these beliefs pop up all over the world.
But it manifests in different ways, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you said, different cultures have different ways of expressing it, but the underlying idea is often very similar.
Yeah.
This sense of, I don't know, like you don't want to tempt fate
Right.
or attract negative energy
Yeah.
by boasting or drawing too much attention to your good fortune.
And so in Arabic culture, this is so intertwined with Islamic beliefs
It is.
about God's power and protection.
Exactly.
Right.
It's like saying, hey, this blessing, this good fortune,
Mm-hmm.
it's from God, not from me.
Right.
So there's no need to be envious or anything like that.
That's fascinating. It's like a verbal amulet almost.
I like that.
Like I remember reading about how in some cultures, people will like wear blue beads or something for protection.
Right.
But here, it's like woven right into the language.
It's part of the fabric of everyday conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, are there any like historical or religious texts
Oh, absolutely.
that would support this idea?
Yeah. The concept of God's will and protection is super central to Islam. And you'll find references to it all over the Quran
Okay.
and the Hadith, which are the sayings of the Prophet Muhammad.
Hmm.
So these phrases that we're talking about,
Yeah.
they're deeply rooted in those teachings.
You know, it makes you wonder if this need to acknowledge some kind of force beyond ourselves
Mm-hmm.
is like a universal human thing.
That's a great question.
You know, like that feeling you get when you talk about good fortune
Yeah.
and you kind of want to knock on wood just in case.
Right. Like you don't want to jinx it. Yeah.
Exactly. But in this culture, it's like beautifully integrated into everyday speech.
I think you've hit on something really profound there. It's this human need to express humility
Yeah.
and gratitude for the blessings that we receive, while also acknowledging that there's a power greater than ourselves at play.
Yeah.
And language, I think, often provides us with a framework for navigating these really complex feelings.
So it's not just about the phrases themselves. It's about how they reflect this whole different worldview.
Exactly. It's a glimpse into a whole different way of seeing the world and our place in it.
Now the video also mentioned using these phrases in other situations.
Yes.
Not just for compliments.
Oh, absolutely.
So tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, think of it as like expressing awe or amazement
Okay.
or acknowledging something truly remarkable. You know, like a stunning sunset
Yeah.
or good news about a friend. Those are all opportunities to say, Masha Allah, which is basically recognizing, you know, God's hand in the beauty and the wonder of life.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. Does this suggest that in Arabic culture, there's like a stronger sense of collective reliance on faith?
That's a nuanced question. I wouldn't necessarily say it's about a stronger sense of faith, but
Okay.
maybe a more integrated one.
Okay.
You know, these phrases are just so seamlessly woven into daily life that it really reflects a worldview where
Yeah.
faith and daily experience are just completely intertwined.
And what about fate?
Ah, fate. That's a big one. It's a complex concept in Islam,
Okay.
but there's definitely a deep belief in God's plan and in surrendering to his will.
So it's so much more than just learning a few phrases.
It is.
Isn't it? It's like stepping into a different way
Yeah,
of seeing the world.
I couldn't agree more.
And honestly, it makes me want to explore not just Arabic, but like
Oh,
other languages too,
yeah.
just to see how they reflect different cultural and spiritual perspectives.
Absolutely. I think that's such a beautiful way to approach language learning. It's not just about communication.
Yeah.
It's about understanding different worldviews.
Exactly. Well, we've only just scratched the surface of these Arabic phrases today, but wow, what a fascinating glimpse into a culture that values humility and gratitude
Yeah.
and a deep connection to faith. It really makes you think, doesn't it,
It does.
about the power of language to shape our understanding of the world
Absolutely.
and our place in it. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive, and we'll see you next time.